It's a pleasure to introduce a very unique software product, MetaGami. MetaGami is the intuitive solution, meaning that the way MetaGami interacts with you regarding data is natural and intuitive. Let's take a look for a moment at Microsoft Office components just as a basis for comparison. Microsoft Office includes Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and a database, Access. All of these products started off independent of one another. Microsoft has done what they can to make the interface that the user has with each of these products common. In fact, they have done a moderately good job, but still, while the interface looks the same, when you press an icon to do something within Excel, it is a different icon than the one that you would press within Word or PowerPoint. Let's just not even worry about Access for the time being. They've also tried to make the products interact with one another, and they sort of do that, but not well and not without a pretty decent amount of technical expertise. By comparison, MetaGami includes virtually all the capabilities of Excel, Word, and PowerPoint, very sophisticated database capabilities, well beyond those of Access. The beauty of MetaGami begins with the fact that the user never needs to know there is such a thing as a database, because MetaGami itself creates, maintains, and optimizes the database in the background, literally without the user knowing there is any such thing as a database, certainly not requiring the user to know anything about how to create a database. We believe that is the reason that MetaGami works the way your mind does. So MetaGami, as I said, includes spreadsheet, word processing, and presentation capabilities. It also includes the ability to handle audios, videos, images, PDF files, tables. Literally anything you would put on a piece of paper can go onto a MetaGami page. And then there are buttons, which are merely fields of a different type, that manage the flow between the various activities on the fields on the pages within MetaGami. MetaGami is unique because all of these elements are linked together through a MetaGami page and MetaGami fields, and as a consequence of that, you're dealing with one single product, all integrated together with one single interface. A very unique and very relevant new way of dealing with data. MetaGami has three cornerstones to its success. The first is that it's simple. Simple enough where this young man participated in a 30 or 35-minute training class in MetaGami, never having seen it before, developed an application that would be comparable to a basic contact management system as it applied to his schoolwork. On our website is a video of this gentleman talking about his experience and his enthusiasm for what he had done and what he next wanted to do. MetaGami is also integrated, another reason for its intuitive nature. It's integrated with regard to data, so that here's an example of an application that is a set of small business applications all tied together, all integrated together so that once a piece of data is entered, it never has to be entered again. It, in fact, is used to determine fields of data elsewhere in the set of applications. But the piece of data, once it changes, automatically updates all of the other areas. No need for data to be duplicated or re-entered. And you'll see here elements of the small business application, which is also discussed in greater detail on the MetaGami website. All of the kinds of applications that a typical small business could use all linked together because MetaGami is integrated with regard to data. In MetaGami, you build pages, you put fields on pages, you declare with a right mouse click what the field is intended to do, text processing, tables, field of data for calculation, fields of data for data entry, and so on. And then the fourth thing that you do is you drag and drop to create relationships that allow the data, once changed in one location, to be reflected elsewhere. Thus, the ability for the data to be integrated, as I mentioned. MetaGami is not only integrated from a data perspective, but from a skill level perspective as well. Individuals who are novice users can create pages and fields and, quote, applications in MetaGami. And in fact, if those applications become useful and relevant to the organization, they can be turned over to IT professionals who can do advanced work with those pages without ever eliminating the novice user's ability to continue to use them and enhance them. The same product, not a different product for prototyping from the one that's used by IT for development. From the very beginning, when you create a page and a field in MetaGami, that same process is used for all skill levels to do whatever the requirements are. So MetaGami is integrated at the skill level as well as the data level. The third cornerstone that makes MetaGami intuitive is that it's dynamic. One of our clients was a very large aerospace and defense contractor who had a very large project to do where data which represented estimates of cost would drive or be driven by the design elements. A very complex, very sophisticated application. Never was a requirements document produced. The nature of the process began when we spent a day at the office of this organization listening to what they had planned to do and had been frustrated from doing because the changes that they needed were never easily implemented within the software they were using, if at all. We agreed after hearing what they told us to come back in 30 days with a demonstration of how we saw their needs being addressed. My belief is that people know better what they want if they can see what they don't want. So with MetaGami, we create the best representation of what the client wants, as we did in this case. And this project extended for many years, the same process pervading the entire time of the project. Needs were identified verbally, they were implemented in the software, they were presented to the client, they were enhanced and modified based on new information the client understood better when they saw the demonstration, or items that they might have forgotten. They were never at a disadvantage for having not identified them at the beginning. MetaGami's dynamic nature is truly one of its strongest characteristics and one of its strongest differentiators compared to other products on the market that manage data. Let's think for a moment about who would be a candidate for use of MetaGami. Novice users, for sure, would be good candidates. Power users, those people who understand well how to use Excel and Word and maybe PowerPoint, but have never ventured into the database area because it's just a big step from the ease of using spreadsheets, word processing tools, and presentation tools. Third would be corporate users. Corporate users such as the client with whom we worked in the aerospace contractor, who was frustrated because the tools that were available to him didn't respond to the constantly changing and dynamic nature of his projects. And fourth, application developers, those who are IT professionals within an organization who are developing applications for users, as well as those who are commercial application developers who develop applications for resale to clients based on needs within a particular market area with which they are familiar. Power users are ideal candidates. Power users, as I mentioned, are very comfortable with spreadsheets, word processing tools, and possibly PowerPoint, but they get very frustrated because many of the things they need to do require a database, and they just don't have the skill set to adapt or the desire to spend the time to learn how to use databases. And as a consequence, they get very frustrated because of the inadequacy of the tools they do have available. So whether the user is a novice, a power user, an end user within a corporation or other type of organization, or an application developer, MetaGami is the intuitive solution. More information on MetaGami, on the small business suite of applications, what it comprises and how those are used, and other areas that will help you understand MetaGami and how it is used, specifically how you can develop solutions with it, are all available on the website at www.metagami, that's metagami.com. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions that are not responded to by the email, please feel free to call us at 303-478-9312.